Frontier by Maggot Moshpit. Chapter 2. Leph tapped his paw against the arm of his chair as he looked into his view screen. He turned to Sirlia, who was reading a book.
How long until we get out of the system? You said it would take 3 hours. It feels like it's been 5. Can't we just engage the drives and jump out of here?
You know we can't jump inside a system. Why don't you pick a book and read?
Leph brought up and scrolled through the library directory on his screen.
None of this looks like it's my style. Wait, Space Harlots 3?
Sirlia removed her paws from the armrest of the chair and got up with a disgusted look on her face.
Ugh, I'm going to my cabin.
I'm just kidding. Send Zach up here, will ya?
Sirlia walked out the door.
Get him yourself.
He hit the intercom button.
Zach, get your ass up here.
His voice echoed through the corridors. The intercom went to all speaker systems, so messages could be heard by all the people on the ship. Zach arrived shortly.
What is it, Leph? And be careful what you say on that intercom.
Leph placed his claws together and spun his chair around. He gave Zach an evil grin.
Greetings, Earthling.
Zach got a cup of coffee from the dispenser.
Cut that out. This is good coffee.
The resupply station in orbit around Retson. You think it'll have a coolant pipe?
It should. Won't be cheap, though.
Do we have any extra supplies to sell?
Zach shrugged.
We have an extra fuel converter, but we might need it.
It'll have to do.
Leph checked his screen.
We're close. We should arrive in half an hour.
He hit the intercom button once more.
Good evening. This is your captain speaking. We'll be docking at Supply Station K7 shortly.
Leph grinned and looked at Zach.
I hope they'll have Space Harlots 3.
Leph, the intercom is still on.
Shit!
He quickly switched off the intercom, as bouts of laughter could be heard from many of the colonists. Leph went red in the face.
I need a goddamn intercom that doesn't toggle.
Zach sipped his coffee.
You're screwed. There are children on this ship, and they have parents.
Sure enough, footsteps could be heard from outside the cockpit. There was a very loud bang from the door.
Captain, open that door. We have grievances.
Zach opened the door before Leph could stop him or make an excuse. 5 angry-looking men and women stormed into the cockpit. Leph sprang up.
Ladies, gentlemen, please.
One of them shook a chopped hand at Leph.
Space Harlots 3? And you even cussed in front of God and everyone. I have a good mind to slap you in your smutty little face. Soon enough, my little boy will be talking horrid sailor talk just because you are irresponsible. How could you?
Leph held up his paws.
I didn't know the intercom was on. Forgive me. It won't happen again.
It better not. Otherwise, there will be trouble. I expect a public apology for such language, young man.
The angry mothers and fathers stormed out of the cockpit as fast as they had come in. Outside, a crowd had gathered. Leph quickly closed the door. Zach was shaking with silent mirth.
Oh my god. That was the most entertaining thing I have ever seen.
I ought to demote you.
He collected himself and toggled the intercom button.
This is your captain speaking. I apologize for my outbreak. Sorry.
Leph bit his lip and made sure the intercom was off. As the Frontier approached Supply Station K7, a long mechanical arm with a ring on the end of it extended and grabbed onto one of the docking ports, locking on. It then slowly guided itself and the Frontier to the station's docking port, the ring on the arm staying between the two. As this took place, Zach and Sirlia were in the engine room, Zach rummaging around in a storage locker.
I know I saw it somewhere around here. Ah, here we are.
He pulled out a black case and placed it on a table covered in different components. He opened it. Inside was a cylinder with 2 pumping arms on either side.
A simple part, but one that's in almost every ship.
Sirlia extended her paw to pick it up. Zach closed the case quickly.
Whoa, you don't want to touch that.
Sirlia frowned.
And why is that?
It's used, so your fingers would rot off.
Sirlia retracted her paw.
Oh.
Zach put on a pair of thick gloves and grabbed the case's handle.
Come on, Leph's waiting.
Leph stood in front of the docking port, which was directly behind the stairs leading to the engine room. He heard the large doors open and called down.
It's about time. We docked 10 minutes ago. I had to chase off some kids who wanted to run around the station or something.
Zack and Celia climbed the stairs as Leph cycled the small amount of vacuum that remained between them and the station. Soon the door opened into a busy passageway full of shops. Leph looked around.
Wow, look at all the useless crap. I love useless crap.
Celia dragged Leph away from a food stall.
We're here to get a coolant pipe, not blow whatever money we have left.
They walked along the promenade until Zack spotted a parts shop.
There! They should have it in there.
The shop was run by a small blue creature with a long snout. It babbled into a device.
Greetings. What can I do for you?
The device translated. Zack slammed the case down onto the counter.
We need an AHA-91 type coolant pipe. In exchange, you can have this fuel converter.
Zack opened the case. The device babbled the translation at the creature. It appeared to be angry as it babbled to the device loudly.
Is this some kind of joke? It's daylight robbery! You'll need to sweeten the deal if I'm going to part with premium parts like an AHA.
Zack looked at Leph.
We don't have anything else.
Leph pushed Zack out of the way.
Let me try. Hello, good sir. If we don't get that coolant pipe, us and many innocent colonists will be stranded here.
The creature was shocked. It practically screamed into the device.
Sir? I'm a woman, you...
Translation unavailable.
Why would I take the word of an individual who can't tell man from woman?
Then the creature noticed Celia.
My word, these boots! Such fine craftsmanship! I must have them. Give me the boots and the converter, and you can have the pipe.
Zack slammed the case shut.
Deal.
Wait, what? These boots wouldn't fit you. My feet are much wider than yours.
The creature placed the case on the floor behind the counter as it babbled into the device.
I collect boots. It is a hobby.
It then sprouted tiny wings and flew into a back room. Celia looked at Leph for help.
Give the lady the boots, Celia. We need that pipe.
Celia reluctantly crouched down and undid her boots. She dropped them onto the counter.
Let's just get that pipe and get out of here before my footpaws freeze.
The creature hauled a large pipe from the back room and flew it into Zack's arms. She then grabbed the boots and began inspecting them. She babbled to herself, but she didn't use the device, so her ramblings sounded like gibberish. Leph assisted Zack as they quickly left the station. Once inside the engine room, they set down the large pipe and Zack slumped in a nearby chair.
Oh, that's thirsty work. I should have it installed by the time we're ready to jump. That is, if you help me, Leph.
Leph sat down too.
Oh, alright. Just give me a second.
Celia walked back to her cabin to fetch another pair of boots. She then went to the cockpit and sat in the pilot's seat, signaling the station.
Release the docking clamp. We're departing.
Acknowledged.
There was a hiss as the arm pushed the Frontier into space, the gas giant it was orbiting dwarfing the view screen. Celia pressed the redial button, which reset the ship's last course. She leaned back and brought up the book she was reading. An hour later, Celia received a transmission from somewhere.
Ship, you have just exited the Atrian system. It is now safe to jump.
Celia checked the limited sensors the ship was equipped with. A small probe blinked on the screens. She pressed the intercom button.
Hey, Leph, Zack, we can jump now. Finish repairs and report here.
Shortly, Leph and Zack arrived, Leph sitting in the pilot seat and Zack sitting in the chair reserved for the engineer when they weren't in the engine room. Leph switched on the intercom.
This is your captain speaking. We are about to enter hyperspace. Please vacate the engine room and grab a bucket, because hyperspace is scary. Thank you.
Leph switched off the intercom and looked at Celia.
Got your bucket?
Celia held up a container and glared at Leph.
Yes, and thank you for asking.
Alright, hang on to your ass and don't leave it in a subspace pocket.
Leph slammed his paw onto the jump button. Nothing happened.
Whoops, forgot to set a course.
Leph searched the computer for the coordinates.
Ah, here we are, Eden.
That name translates into a cliché in English.
Let's try this again, alright? Hang on to your asses and... whatever.
He slammed his paw onto the button again. The ship began to shake. Then the cockpit began to stretch and warp. At least it seemed to for the people on the Frontier. Just as the stretching and undulating got to be too much for the mind to bear, there was a bright flash of light and everything appeared to be back to normal. Celia dry heaved and almost vomited into the container.
Holy shit! That was the worst jump I've ever had. Zack, you need to check the drive stabilizer.
Zack checked his console.
We're doing L 3.9. Looks like everything checks out. We're on course. I'll check the stabilizer when we next stop.
Leph held his stomach.
Oh, I sympathize with you, Sir Leah. Man, I should check on the colonists.
Leph got up shakily and exited the cockpit. The cargo bay was filled with the sound of groaning and the occasional vomiting. Rackham greeted Leph. He was seemingly unfazed.
Leph! If every jump is gonna be like that, we'll start having casualties.
Leph patted him on the back.
I'm having Zack look into it. How are your people?
Oh, as well as you can expect. You're right. Hyperspace is scary.
A fennec fox girl stumbled up to Leph and sat down on the floor, clutching her stomach. She was short and somewhat plain with cream-colored fur.
Oh, Captain, how do you survive space travel if this is what it's like?
Leph smiled.
Oh, you get used to it, especially when you've flown a few times.
The girl hung her head.
Captain, you must have an iron stomach. Blazes! I don't think I'm okay!
Rackham crouched down beside her.
Bless ya! Leph, do you have anything for the lass? She seems the worst off.
Leph held up a claw.
Won't be a second.
He ran off and returned shortly holding 2 pills.
Here, these will help.
The vixen accepted them and looked skeptically at Leph.
What are they?
Leph grinned.
Heat suppressants. They help with nausea, too.
She took them and, after a few seconds, began to look better.
You're right! They do help! Thanks, Captain!
Leph smiled, more to himself than anyone.
Oh, it was no problem. Call me Leph.
She smiled back.
I'm Lena, Cap. I mean, Leph.
Rackham chuckled to himself as he slipped out of the scene.
Oh, Leph, when will you learn?
Leph extended his paw and helped Lena to her feet.
Would you like a tour? We can't see the engine room, but the cockpit is a sight to see.
All right.
As they walked down the corridor, Lena stopped and cocked her head to one side. Leph stopped 2 meters later.
What is it?
Hear that?
Hear what?
Lena's sensitive ears twitched.
There's a very faint scratching coming from there.
She pointed to the wall, and Leph put his ear to it.
I don't hear anything. Is it in the wall or behind the wall?
Lena concentrated hard.
Behind?
There's nothing in there but house parts for the colony. It's probably just the ship creaking.
Lena ran to the cargo door, opened it, and jumped inside. Leph ran after her.
Hey, wait!
Leph stumbled around in the dark. Lena had used her ears to guide her, following the sound. Leph eventually found the light switch and flipped it on.
All right now, enough games. Where are you?
Over here, Leph.
Lena was crouching in front of a crate. Leph looked at the box, paws akimbo.
All right, what was the point of this?
Lena poked the crate.
In here. I think there's someone in here.
Cock blocked by a crate.
What was that?
Nothing. Let's check the crate then.
Leph went to release the catch on the side of the crate, but found that it was already unlocked.
Strange.
Lena bounced excitedly.
If someone climbed into the crate, they wouldn't be able to close the locks. It's the only explanation.
They both jumped at a voice that came from inside the crate.
Got it in one, kid. You're sharp.
The lid opened slowly. A pure white, lean ferret wearing nothing but a pair of pants emerged. His chest had fur dye tattoos all over them, and a deep scar that ran down his chest.
I'm not a kid! And what are you doing in our supplies?
The ferret held up his hands.
I don't want any trouble. See?
Lena, go get my first officer. She's in the cockpit. Tell her to bring a weapon.
Lena nodded and scurried off. Leph looked the suspicious character over.
Who are you?
The ferret sat on the edge of the crate.
I'm just a man on the run. Not from the law, mind you. Well, actually, I am also kind of running from the law, but I haven't done anything wrong. Call me Felda.
All right, Feldo. Why are you on my ship?
Well now, don't get mad. I'm running from Nocto.
What? You idiot! You'll get us all killed!
Leph ran his paw through the fur on his head. Feldo climbed out of the crate.
Don't worry, he doesn't know I'm here.
Lena arrived with Sir Leah. She was brandishing a pistol.
What is it, Leph? Who's that?
A stowaway. He's running from Nocto.
Sir Leah aimed her pistol at Feldo.
What? Seriously? Leph, what did we do?
I don't know. I never expected something like this to happen.
Lena tapped Sir Leah on the shoulder.
Who's Nocto?
Sir Leah looked at her with fear in her eyes.
He's the most notorious pirate, maybe ever? The stories say he rarely leaves a ship without killing a few on board. That is, if he leaves any drive fuel left. Some ships are discovered years later, everyone on board either starved or suffocated. Some, like our friend here, have tried to leave Nocto's gang, but are hunted down and killed, but not without a degree of torture.
Lena looked at Feldo.
He doesn't look like a dangerous pirate.
Before the conversation could go any further, the ship began to shake violently again, and the sound was deafening. Leph stumbled to the door and shouted down the hall.
Zack, what the hell is going on?
Zack held onto the cockpit doorframe as he shouted back.
We're coming out of hyperspace. I can't figure it out.
There was a bright flash and a crash that rocked the ship. Leph ran to the cockpit, Celia, Lena, and Fellow in hot pursuit.
Zack, report!
Zack was frantically running scans.
We've been thrown out of hyperspace, and I have no idea why. The only explanation is that something's pulled us out into normal space.
Feldo wrung his hands together nervously.
Not to start a panic or anything, but, it sounds like Nocto.
Leph grabbed Feldo.
You have to be joking. You realize you're responsible for the death of all the people on this ship if he catches us.
Feldo closed his eyes and clasped the sides of his head.
I know. God damn it. I left Nocto because I didn't want to cause any more death. Thought I could get away.
Leph shook him.
Well, now we probably have a heavily armed pirate ship bearing down on us, unarmed civilians with an old ship.
Lena pointed at a flashing light on Leph's console.
This looks important.
Leph released Feldo, who stood there, visibly regretting his life choices. Leph checked the console.
Proximity alert, ship incoming.
Celia's console also lit up.
We're being hailed. It's Nocto.
Leph straightened his jacket and sat so that the video communicator would see him.
Feldo, get out of here.
Let me speak to him. I can talk him down.
You know as well as I do that's not possible. If he thinks you're not here, he might leave.
Feldo nodded and left the cockpit.
All right, answer it.
Leph's tiny screen came on and the face of a grizzled rat appeared on it. He had scars all over his face and wore a nose ring.
Cargo vessel, disarm and prepare to be boarded.
Leph smiled his brightest smile.
Hello, nice weather we're having.
Nocto grinned back.
If you don't, we'll blast you out of the sky. You have one of our crew aboard. We want him back.
One of your crew? Well, if I knew what you were talking about, I would comply, but I don't think any of your crew is aboard. I'll run a search and get back to you. Goodbye.
No, we will board you, and you will submit to our search.
Zack cut the transmission.
Leph, I have an idea.
What is it?
Zack grinned.
It's a stroke of genius. Listen up.